again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where you can get caught up on some of the latest news that involves the best team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. Thank you to everyone who has liked our previous episodes and to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We are just inching ever so closely to 8,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Once we get there, I will change the fit for a day. And to everyone who gets their comments into the viewer comments section. And boy, were the comments flying yesterday ahead of Shedeur Sanders. First start in the NFL, the preseason game against Carolina. He gets the start. And guess what, folks? I'm already thinking Super Bowl. See what I did there? Hey. Not just Shedeur that's going under the microscope today. We have some things to say about the way the whole team performed. Hey, now that this preseason game 1 is in the books, where do we go from here? We'll talk about that. And did you also pay attention to what Joe Thomas said about Kenny Pickett? And then down in the viewer comments, someone is not happy with Dustin Hopkins. Ugh. Well, but first things first, Shedeur Sanders shines in his first game. I mean, if this was a Disney movie we watched, it was, he really couldn't have done much more than what he did. And it's just so nice to finally have something like this in Cleveland where, the expectations are so great and all eyes are on us. And we go out there. We won the game 30-10, but that just, it takes a backseat a little bit. But just how good everybody looked, and it starts with number 12. It was nearly a legendary performance. It was pretty darn close to a legendary performance. Look at, especially in the first half. Look at those numbers: 11 of 18, 103 yards, the 2 touchdowns. He had the 7-yard pass he found Davis twice, Caden Davis, the 7-yarder, and the 12-yarder. And on the 7-yarder, he had a roll to his left, and then he put it in a tight window, and he got it to him. And then he found Davis again on that post in the end zone. And I'll tell you what, man. Totals for the day, 14 of 23, 138 yards, a touchdown, no turnovers. Now, 2 sacks, 1 completely not on him. It was at 4th and 1. I was calling for a quarterback sneak on that play, or quarterback draw. They lined him up in the shotgun, and then that rush came straight up the middle, and he didn't have a chance. And then the other sack, he got flushed to the right, and he was expecting the receiver, I think, to come back to him because you saw him after the play talking to the receiver. But the receiver, they just weren't on the same page. But other than that, there was a drop there, and the one could have been intercepted, but again, that was to Larvadain. Probably could have come back on the ball a little bit, and he didn't. But 14 of 23, 138, and a touchdown in the third quarter. So altogether, the 3 touchdowns. You cannot say enough about his performance. And people were all like, well, Coach Prime on Twitter, God is good. Oh yeah, what now? Yes, Lord, yes. Everybody, Twitter's blowing up. The TikTok, everything's blowing up. The highlights were everywhere. It was awesome to see. How about LeBron James chiming in? He says, hey, he looks good out there. He says, keep it up. And then he says, I don't want to hear about that. It's only preseason stuff. He's like, so, Shedeur getting his flowers. He made great decisions. All right, here, let's do it this way. Here's where the things I said to watch for, right? I said, don't force things, right? And he didn't. He let the game come to him. He made great decisions, knew when to extend the plays, looked poised from the start, even when the ones were in there. Looked poised. Yeah, there are a couple of we told you, don't push the panic button on a couple of 3 and outs. And, you had that in the beginning, and the play calls were exactly what I figured would happen. You had a run, you had high percentage passes. The one was a little high, but once he settled down, man, showed some great touch, the timing. I mean, he pumped it in there when he needed to, scrambled, but threw it away when he needed to. Ran when he needed to, ran the ball 4 times for 19 yards. I mean, he recognized the defense. He took what the defense was giving him, like everything that we had talked about, And then stepping up in the pocket, you saw that. You didn't see, I mean, you saw him run away he scrambled a little bit, but he got away from the rush. So it's like, hard to knock that. Now, he ran around. Oh my goodness, he probably ran for 50 yards in order to pick up a 2-yard loss, and they were going to punt anyway, so it didn't matter. He didn't force it down the field, didn't throw a pick. The Carolina defense, I saw some stunts, I saw some twists. They were throwing some things at him a little bit, and even on the second touchdown, they blitzed. There was a nice block by Amani Marshall, who we'll talk about in a minute, but he had another good game, but. He checked all the boxes, did Shedeur. He really did. I mean, everything that we said if he could do it, he did it. I mean, there were a couple little things here and there, but for the most part, I mean, compared to the quarterback play we've been watching for the last, I don't know how many years, probably since Baker hit in his one good year we went to the playoffs. Like he was pretty good that year. Like, this is the best we've seen since then, for sure. And he just and I know it's preseason, but I mean, he looked every bit the part, and then he talked about, what he could have done better. So after he came out, he talked to the sideline reporter, Aditi Kikabata, and she asked him some questions, and he said, hey, it was a dream come true. Glad he had the opportunity, but he didn't want to come out, but he said it was fun running around. It was, he felt like he was back in college when he was running around and trying to avoid the rush. And when she asked about the reps, he said, I don't care. He says, when it's my turn, I just, take advantage and don't make the same mistakes twice. And he apologized to Coach Prime. He says he didn't do everything he wanted to do, but, I mean, yeah, there were a couple little things here and there, but, I thought that, I don't know what the Browns are going to do now, but we're going to talk about it more in a minute. But, yeah, the noise is going to get louder, and the conversation is going to have to be had because he did everything possible to put himself on the map. So, everybody had eyes in this game, and he just handled his business, and it was great to see. Now, not only Shedeur, but I thought as a whole, the whole team played pretty well. The defense, Julian Aquara, who we picked up, in the offseason, Alex Wright, we mentioned him yesterday. Like, they had sacks, the defense got off the field, which is what they struggled with last year, and that's one of the things they wanted to improve on. And they were getting off the field. They forced some turnovers. I mean, turning those PBUs into INTs. I thought Tony Brown had a good game. I thought Dom Jones had a good game. Nick Needham had the pick in the third that set up the last score for Shedeur. That's the other thing with the offense. The second half, when all the threes were in there were so many penalties and things like that. Like Shedeur, didn't really panic. The offensive line was kind of in shambles there because we had false starts and those first couple of drives just went nowhere, and it really wasn't on Shedeur. But then he kept it together, and then you get the pick by Needham, and you get the short field. They just get the start around midfield, and Shedeur was 3 for 3 on the drive, gets them in. It ends with the Larvidan jet sweep. And so again, he showed that poise, wasn't fazed by a couple of bad drives to start the second half. He could have been feeling himself after how well everything went in the first half, and so he faced a little adversity, but bounced right back. Like all of those intangibles that you want to see out of your quarterback, you saw it last night. The offense, I thought the offense overall looked pretty good. I mean, you saw some of that wide zone running. You saw Sampson had a little burst. Amani Marshall, I thought, was impressive. He kept bouncing outside, showed some speed. Floria had the great catch and then pulled his hammy. Boy, it's going to be tough for him now. I told you it was going to be tough for them. That might, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know what is going on with all these hamstrings with this team this year. I thought Larvidan had a great game. He made a couple of nice catches, and then, like I mentioned, had the touchdown. Travion Williams, I thought, made some plays. I met Amani Marshall on the second touchdown, had a nice block too. So special teams were great until the end. The defensively, I saw some nice open field tackles on kickoffs, forced a turnover to set up the first score. That helps, settle down. If you want to settle down a rookie quarterback, get a turnover and set them up inside the 10. With some good returns on kickoffs. So, all of that was fine. Floria botched that one punt, and then they had the offsetting penalties. At first, we thought we were going to get a make good, but it didn't happen. But I think Floria learned from that. He should have let that ball land, and it probably would have rolled into the end zone. I mean, what happened to the rule of inside the 10, you let it go? These guys. So that was the one little hiccup on Floria's part. But then we got to talk about Dustin Hopkins, who was having a great night until that last extra point where he missed it. And it's like, gosh, I hope extra points need to be automatic. They have to be automatic. And that was, we can't be missing extra points. I'm sorry. We can't. If we want to get him back to where he was in 2023, he's got to, he was deadly from 50 and 50 plus and extra points. So all in all though, the team with so many eyes on them, the national spotlight shining on the Cleveland Browns, and man, oh man, did we show up. And I'll tell you what, folks, I've got to give credit to Shedeur even before the game. It was so cool, to see the walk-ups and just everything. There were so many Browns videos of TikTok, everywhere. There was such a buzz before this game, for a preseason game. I told you, it's going to be as big as Michael Jackson's world premiere Thriller on MTV. And I think we came pretty close. It's going to be great to see what kind of numbers they pull on this later today and tomorrow, but it really felt like a regular season game or a playoff game even. I mean, just the excitement, the hype, and everything, and it was so good to see a guy who gets so much criticism and so and for nothing really. I mean why these people pick on him mostly because of his dad, and for him to just stare them all right in the face. Again, this is like that Iron Man moment, right? If you've ever seen the movie Iron Man, the first one, where Tony Stark builds the suit in the cave, and then he comes out of the cave, and they're all shooting at him. All the bad guys are shooting at him for what seems like 5 minutes. And then when they're all done, he says, "Now it's my turn." And he just takes over. And tonight, last night it was my turn. And he went out there and showed everybody, like I said, don't think, just do. Then that's what he did. He sure dude. It was so great to see, and it's going to be great for Cleveland. And it's going to be tough for the coaching staff, but it's just great for the Browns and all of their fans. What a night. What a night to watch him go out there and do that. So now, what happens now? Let's start here, because here's what we're gonna do. So usually we have this first, but we're working backwards today because we had to talk about how great they played last night. And so today, they're not going to do much because of the game last night. And Kevin Stefanski will be available. So after he watches the film, we'll be able to get some thoughts from him on what he saw on the film. Tomorrow, no scheduled availability. I'm sure they'll be doing something, a little something out there in Berea. Monday will be a regular practice. Now, remember, no more open practices. No more. The public will no longer be allowed at the practices. But Coach Kevin will talk at 9. Practice will be at 9:30 in the morning. And then Tuesday, they're heading to Philly because they got joint practices, 2 of them, Wednesday and Thursday with Philly coming up. And so, and then this is where we're pointing. We got the Eagles on Saturday at 1, and then the Rams will come here to the beautiful shores of Lake Erie for their 1 o'clock preseason game on the 23rd. And then there it is, week 1, staring us in the face. September 7th is going to be here before you know it, folks. It's flying. It is flying through. And so, okay, now, back to what happens now. One thing that I don't know if anybody picked up on it, but I did. In the pregame show, and then Joe Thomas doubled down during the broadcast. On the pregame show, Joe Thomas said Kenny Pickett is dealing with a significant hamstring injury. And remember I told you when I was out at practice on Monday, I was watching him walk, and he was walking very gingerly. And I'm like, he does not look right. And then Joe Thomas says last night in the pregame show that he has a significant hamstring injury. And then during the game, it was at the end, if you pieced out, it was after Shedeur went out of the game, Joe Thomas doubled down. He says, I don't expect Pickett to be ready to play for at least a couple more weeks. So what does that mean? They're not even sure if Dillon Gabriel's going to be. Remember, all week they kept telling us they expect Pickett and Gabriel to be ready for Philadelphia week. And now we got Joe Thomas on the TV saying Pickett's not going to be around for 2 more weeks. So we got to see what's going to happen with that come Monday. Because everybody's going to be screaming up and down for Shedeur. And rightly so. I mean, rightly so. And so, if Gabriel's back in the mix, whatever. But here's what Shedeur needs to do. Just keep doing this. This is all he's been doing. Doesn't matter who's in front of you. If it's the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the CYO team, it doesn't matter. Tear them up. And then wait to be moved up. That's all they can do. They want to bring him along slow, but I think now he's in the conversation 100% for QB2, the way he looked. Flacco, at this point, will be tough to unseat, but we'll see. We will see. If he keeps going the way he's going, Philly will be a great test. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Maybe this turns into Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel against Philly, which would be a great test. I don't think Flacco's going to play in any of these preseason games. He'll get all of his work during the joint practices. So that's what I think is going to happen next. The first thing that we got to find out is what is up with Pickett. Is it what the Browns are saying is true, or is it what Joe Thomas is saying is true? And we should be able to sort all that out come Monday. So the noise is just going to keep getting louder, and then now we need to see if any of these other guys are healthy enough. Huntley, he came in and he did his thing. By then, I mean, they were down to the 4s and the 5s, and and Huntley's just here really for that game, or to see if anybody gets healthy enough to, if they're not healthy enough, maybe he'll stick around. But Huntley does not factor into this quarterback room in any way, shape, or form. So he may be, he may take that tape and send it around the league and try to hook on with somebody else. But Huntley is not. That's why, after the third, once Shedeur came out, it was pointless to. There's no need to watch Huntley do anything because there's no way. First string, second string, third string, fourth, it doesn't. He's not going to be any string for the Browns. But who's always first string? You guys with the viewer comments. And we're going to start with Carnivore Sisters 8802. She said, Shedeur's got this. Watch him work. W12 QB1. I'll tell you what, man, he sure did work. Boy, oh boy, it was so fun to watch, so fun to see. And I mean, he looked every bit the part. So, all right. I mean, that's exactly what he needed to do. But like I said before, that's all he's been doing this entire training camp. Whatever's in front of him, he's tearing them up. Skate Queen says, all those people talking about how Shedeur should sit at the feet of Flacco. When you get a job and everyone is telling you should wait, and how you'd be salty. Well, yeah, I mean, of course. But, I mean, there's still a learning curve. It's another level, and, give him some time. You don't need to rush him into it. But look it looks like he's already ahead of the pace, man. So, but it doesn't mean we need to, tell him he's QB1. I mean, it's still okay to pump the brakes a little bit and let him, get, that was a great test. Get the speed of the game and just everything they threw at him, he handled. I mean, passer rating of 100. I've seen different numbers. I've seen 113 point something. I've seen 106.8. So somewhere in there, let's just average it out. We'll call it 110. I mean, that's a hell of a passer rating for your first, as a rookie in a preseason game when you get almost 3 full quarters. And you had to play against their ones. That's what I mean. It's like, even against the ones, we heard it all along. Unflappable, right? Unflappable. That's exactly what he looked like. How about T-Squared 2? That's Thraso Vulu. He says, I knew it. He has to miss at least one. We paid Dustin Hopkins $3 million a year to always miss at least one kick a game. It bugs me too, man. I'm telling you, especially these extra points. He has got to get it together. We talked about this. That was one of the things I said to watch. Wanted to get him off to a hot start, and he was good, but it just stinks because that's how he ended the game. It just, you hate to see that happen. So hopefully that's not a sign of things to come for Dusty Hopkins. Great take, T-Squared. XL Arsenal. He says, they totally failed this draft. The linebacker is the only one I like. Should have drafted Abdul Carter. And the linebacker is Carson Schlesinger, and I thought he looked good in his limited action in the first half. I thought he made a couple of nice plays. He was running around had some nice coverage, and because that one sack they got, the first one, I think, it was the one we're right. It was almost a coverage sack, and I was watching Schlesinger on that play. He had the back coming on back. He would I thought the defense played pretty well. I mean, I don't think you could ask for anything more. So I don't really think we need Abdul Carter. Mason Graham. I mean, we're doubling Mason Graham. Did you notice that? What happens when Miles is out there and they're doubling Graham? That's exactly why he's there. They were doubling him already yesterday. So if you're like, well, where was he? He didn't make any tackles. He said they were doubling him. I was watching it. So I don't know. I thought even the free agent signings looked good. Larvadan and Floria and these guys. I mean, and Nick Needham and Tony Brown had a good game, and Dom Jones. I don't know. I think the jury's still out on that. David Jump, 95.90. They're going to be sabotage on the ratings on the preseason game. 10 million viewers or better. Remember, we were going for 7.3. That's the record at Dallas and Pittsburgh game. So we'll have to wait and see because, it's an NFL Network game. But, with the streaming and everything now, it's so different the way they do ratings. So we'll have to wait and see what they come up with. But, I mean, everybody and their brother were watching this game. There's no doubt about it. And we'll end on Stan 1167. He liked, and there were a few of you, I appreciate it. You guys chimed in the comments and you said you really liked my Thriller in Carolina when I opened the show with that. Yeah, and that's what it was, man. It was the Thriller in Carolina last night. And now I'm saying, I kept texting everybody, Super Bowl, baby. Super Bowl. Let's go. What a night. What a fun night. Let's hope we can have this every single week all the way through February, and we hoist a Lombardi trophy because we deserve it here in Cleveland, and boy, we deserve a night like we had last night. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Go Browns! We'll see you next time.